Hello, everyone. Today we're here with intuitive goddess Shanti. She is a trauma informed intuitive and life coach. She's the healing healer, and she's also selling CBD products at the moment, too, right?
Yes.
So I love that your bio says healing healer. That's just so beautiful to me. Can you share like what that means to you?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm someone who, like many of us, I have healing energy, and at the same time in my life, I'm also healing myself. One thing is I like to think of things as being in process. Like there's no such thing in my opinion as healed. No offense to anyone who thinks so, but I feel like just like your body is like continuously regenerating, you yourself are continuously regenerating, and so that's why I call myself a healing healer. And like I feel like part of that is also just really being humble, like saying like I'm not better than you. I am just only sharing how I've gotten through and how I'm getting through this crazy life. So that's actually calling myself that healing healer. Like I'm with you on this journey as well as you're healing. And if you're a healer, you're also allowed to heal. You're allowed to be vulnerable and you're allowed to go through your process as well. And like I try to say, like, I'm very human. I want people to see my humanity as well. And I feel like when you do that, you also allow people to come to you with vulnerability and be open. And that's what I want. I always say to my clients, like, tell me you're ugly. Like, share with me, especially like, we might pass each other on the street and I won't even know who you are. So just get it out. Like, we're all in this together. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that it's just more authentic, and I think people feel it, and I think it would be more intimidating if you were like, "I am always happy 100% of the time, nothing is ever wrong with me," then it's like, I don't really know if I feel comfortable telling you that I have this horrible thing happening to me.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
I
Totally.
also feel
Yeah.
like with people who do what we do, we also
Mhm.
tend to hear the most ugly, not ugly, but hard stories to
Yeah.
hear. And it can be a lot. I feel like even you, I feel like you probably know me better than most of the people I know in real life.
I won't say anything.
Yeah.
I'll never tell. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
I love that. And I
Yeah.
love how we met too. Do you remember like how it all started?
I probably sent you a random message or you sent me a random message. This was back in the day. I want to say probably like what, 2018?
Yeah.
Something like that. I just remember like sitting on my couch in my old apartment and being like, this girl has something. Like, whoever she is, I'm going to help her. I knew it. I knew you had that like awesome combination of just like naturally spiritual wisdom coupled with this like awesome business sense. And I was like, oh yeah, she got it. So, whatever you wanted, I think you said something like, I don't even remember how you approached me. Maybe let's do an exchange or let's do I don't know what it was, but I just knew right away that I was always going to be a fan and support you. And that's what I remember about how we met. And then we just
Yeah.
like have kept it flowing ever since then.
Yeah.
You've come to me and I've also come to you for help with my children as well. Like you have coached my teenage daughter and given her readings and things like that. So yeah, plug to you. You can work with all ages and
Oh,
all
thank you.
beings. Yeah, totally. So that's what I remember. I don't know what you remember, but that's my distinct memory of you.
Yeah, I remember
Us.
that too. The craziest part too was that we met pretty much right when I started my business, and I was
Mm,
definitely in kind of a hard time in my personal life. But it was so
mm.
cool when you and I just kind of started talking just about whatever, and it turned out that like I was born around the same time that you were supposed to have had a child. That
Yes.
we just had this really intense connection. We're both Tauruses.
Yes, that's true, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, and I think that's how that, spirit mama, spirit daughter kind of kinship and connection started, which has also been really cool. I think for both of us.
Yeah, definitely. And I even just love like this back and forth feels so natural. I don't feel like I need to like force it or.
Hmm. Totally. Yeah. We've always been just like super cool with each other from
Yeah.
the start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love too that people who do what we do, but especially you've been through so much and you really have been able to turn it into, this is what I've learned and this is how I can help you. Do you
Yeah.
want to share a little bit about your experiences kind of working with your own trauma and how that helps other people?
Um, yeah, I mean, the way I see it is like I'm a survivor, I'm a fighter. I like to say I turn my dirt to gold. I never have seen that I have a choice, even when I want to give up and I want to quit. I keep going. Honestly, sometimes the only reason is for my children. Again, very human. So within that, I keep finding ways that I can keep going, how I can be strong in my body, my spirit, my mind. I had this one teacher one time say, like, it's a little bit grim, but I'll just say it. He's like, whatever prevents you from basically blowing your head off is your God. And I always think of that. So when I go through these, like, I'm at the bottom types of things, I think about what lifts me up, what gets me up. And those are the things that, again, are like my goals. And those are the things that I share. Like, this is how I get through. Like, what do you have when you have nothing? Okay. You have breath, you have earth, you have your body, you have gratitude. You have things that can help you along the way, like CBD, things like that, that just help you just be able to get back to a place where you can survive and then just thrive from that. And that's really what I try to share with people, all the things I go through, and it's been a lot. I just, like, again, it's just like, all right, how do I get my way out of this one? How do I see myself through this one? And then if you want to know, here's my roadmap, and I'll share with you.
I also feel a lot of times healers tend to go through really horrible things almost as if
Totally.
it's planned, because a lot of times I'll go through something traumatic and then the next day I meet a client who's going through it
Oh
and I'm like,
yeah.
there's no coincidence with that.
Right, totally. Yeah, I think that's true. It's almost like healers have to learn how to heal themselves so that they can help others heal. But also, I feel like, I always say, like, I'm sure I've said this to you, like, healers crave to heal. And so we also a lot of times are in situations where we are the healers. And that's where we have to learn how to channel, like, where do we do that? Who do we do that with? A lot of times we might do it with, the people we're in relationships with, maybe toxic relationships, things like that. And so, doing what we're doing is a way that we can do it, without it being in places where it's not supposed to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you start doing this type of work?
Oh man, like, I feel like I was born this way. My mom is a spiritual teacher. She's been one since the 1970s. So I grew up with it, but of course, like, being my own individual and being, a teenager, young woman, I was rebellious. I had to find my way, just like I think many of us are with our parents. Like, I have to find my own way. And so I went the total normal route. I was a teacher, I was in corporate, I worked for Google, I did all kinds of that, all that stuff. And then in about 2016, 2017, my life just imploded. Like, God has shut every single MF door on me and was like, nope, nope, nope. And I got pregnant. So I was just like, okay, I had to reinvent myself. And it was like people had always come to me for guidance and advice. I've always been intuitive. And then, like, one of my friends was just like, I think you should talk to this person. He's a friend. And I did. And I was like, okay, she's like, yeah, charge him whatever you want. And I'm like, okay. And it sort of just like opened the door, and I started doing life coaching. And then what I noticed was people were coming to me, even though I wasn't branding myself as an intuitive. And so then I started doing the intuitive work. And then incorporating like energy work and tarot and now CBD. So it's just been like an evolution from there. But really, it came from very much of, like, I guess what you would call like a tower moment, just dark night of the soul, just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And I believe, of course, it was meant to be like, this is how I had to find my true calling, but it was very much like I have no choice now. The
Mhm.
universe is just like, you're doing this now. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Yeah.
And here I am,
Yeah.
still doing it, and no turning back for sure.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
feel the same exact way because when I first started, I really had no choice either. I was in a narcissistic relationship, and that person got me into a bad situation, then saved me from it. But I still had no job. I had no car. I just had a tarot deck, and I knew that I wanted to do this type of work eventually. So I was like, well, I ain't got no other choice now.
Right, totally. I remember that time for you.
It's been
Yeah.
quite a ride, and it's still a
Yep.
bumpy one.
Totally. It is a bumpy one, and, like, that's the thing too. I mean, doing this work and doing this job, it's like I have honestly given up so much for it. It has been blood, sweat, and tears to do this work. I'm not here like trying to make like quick money or anything. I'm like legitimately trying to help people, sometimes even at the cost of myself, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And it's not easy, but it's beautiful, and I know it's my calling. So I remember like the first, I think it was like $5 I made from doing this work. Like, I had been at Google, I was making like six figures, but the first $5 I made for this work, I was like, it's the best money in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm doing what I want to do. And it's like, I try to help people understand, like, being in this place of alignment, it doesn't mean that everything is easy. Following your intuition doesn't mean everything is easy, but somehow it's just like way more beautiful. So even
Mhm.
when you have nothing, you have something.
I agree. And I think that's why I tend to really enjoy and resonate with stories from the Bible because it's always like, God tells somebody to do something and everyone thinks they're insane and it's this crazy journey, but then something miraculous happens at the end. And I feel like that's real life.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, and that I think is like the process of also trust. Just keep listening and trust. And I say like, even when it's crazy, especially when it's crazy, you just have to trust the process and keep going. And it's not always easy, but again, I feel like it's always beautiful, and in the end it always makes sense. And it's like these, what weaves together is like a really wonderful synchronistic story,
Hmm.
that you can't get I feel like if you're just following like the beaten path. When you're
Yeah.
following your own path, it's just like amazing. Sometimes it's even hard to describe, like, oh my gosh, I had this vision, I had these dreams, I had this, these ancestors came to me, or this thing happened, I saw these numbers. And it's just like it all adds up, and you're like, wow, here I am, here I am again.
Uh-huh.
um, so yeah.
And at the end, I feel like once you make it through, I mean, you never really are over with what's going
Yeah,
on. But when you reach that final stage of whatever's happening, you understand why.
totally,
That's the part where
totally.
it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Reinforces the trust of it. And that's also where I try to help people to get through and to. It's like, just hold on, have that trust, have that faith, live in alignment, and you'll get to see it's not immediate. We live in a world where it's like, if it's not right away, that means it's not going to happen, or it's not the right thing. And it's like, no, that's not true, right? Like, I like to say to my clients, like, when you say no to one thing, you get to say yes to something else. If you're holding on to fear and you're saying, no, no, I can't go there because I'm scared, you don't get that beautiful yes. And oftentimes the other side of that is just amazing, and just like this just being aligned is kind of worth it. Life is hard no matter what, but when you're aligned, it just feels a little different.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. How do you think that your spiritual work has influenced your parenting?
Um, Definitely. I would say being in a place when I was a younger parent, just like being more in the rat race, I wasn't as present. I feel now like my spiritual work, my connection to what's deeper has allowed me to just be more compassionate and also just more zen. But it's worked both ways because I feel like my children have also been great teachers for me, not just
Mhm.
me being great teachers for them. I don't know that I can really totally impart everything to them spiritually as much as I would want to be honest. Like, they have to go on their own journey. I'm always here to help and teach them, but they also have like helped and taught me, like having two teenage daughters. Oh, hey, you ever want to have a mirror in your face? You think you're so great? You ain't that great to two teenage girls. I don't care how great your clients or your followers think you are,
Yeah.
and also my son, who was born in 2017, kind of at this crazy transitional time in my life, is on the spectrum. And so that has like really, really brought me down to the moment, to being zen, to being flexible, to remembering what is the most important part of life, just like life itself and just being there. And I can't be so agenda driven, and I can't even be so career driven. It's why I work the way I do. Like remotely, I do early morning phone calls, things like that. I kind of have to structure my life around him. So really just bringing me back again, humbling me. So it's worked both ways. Like, I hope to continue to impart these beautiful lessons and things to my children, especially since my mother did for me. But at the same time, like, I try to receive from them as well, and be the best parent that I can be. Like, because again, I'm just human. I ain't that great to them.
Mhm, yeah. Do you think that they ever express any interest in more spirituality type work or anything like that? Or do you think they're kind of like, oh, that's mom's crazy stuff?
I think both. Like, they call me like a lot of the teenage girls, like their friends will call me like intuitive goddess and stuff like that. And I know one of them, like they show my profile, they'll be like, "What? That's not your mother," and I try to teach them about manifestations and energy and giving them energy. And sometimes they'll ask me for readings and things like that. Can you read a situation? So they do it in their own way. And at the same time, like, they also have to find their own way, through the real world and their own worlds. They have another influence, the influence of their father and other things in their lives. And so, you know um I don't know, like, how it will translate into their life, but I know that they do have an openness to me. But also because I'm their mother, it's sometimes a little bit more, you know, let's keep this on the down low. I'm not gonna advertise my openness. But of course, they're my daughters, right? Like, they came into me for a reason. And so I know inherently that there is an openness and a connection there. And that's theirs to foster in their life. I'll always be here for it. But also support them in what they want. I mean, I had to do things my way too. My
Mhm.
mom was always telling me, Teresa, you're gonna do the work. You have to do the work. You're gonna do the work. And I'd be like, okay, whatever. I just want to make money. I just want the degree. I just want this, that, and the other thing. And then, of course, life taught me, nope, you do got to do the work. So here I am.
I think that's another reason why we came together in the way that we did. Because I feel like if you were my like biological mother, I probably would have been like, screw you, mom. I'm not going to read tarot cards and be some woo woo hippie.
Oh,
It might have taken away from my journey. But this way,
yeah,
we kind of came together in like a different way, which is crazy. Because I mean, we didn't really live that close together, and it just was so random.
totally. But not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely the funny part about all of this is that it seems random and it seems like a coincidence, but it never really is. And even the more you go into it, like your name is Teresa, and that's literally my stepmom's name. Just all
Oh,
these little things that bring it together. Yeah.
even like the way we look,
We're
I mean,
both
we could
gorgeous.
totally, like, we could be related. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be so far fetched. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is your favorite service to offer your clients? Do you have a favorite?
I really love one-on-one coaching. I'm at a point too where it's like there's a lot of different opportunities that come my way. Like, people will approach me, like other coaches, and say, like, "Hey, you want to scale your business? What if you do group offers or you know, you, these different programs and this and that. And not saying I'm not open to it. I'm always open to expansion and evolution, but I just really love working with people one on one. Like, one of the reasons why I started doing readings and things like that and being open to it is because I feel like that's how you get people in a lot of times. Like, just to say it very bluntly, a lot of times, like, a woman will not necessarily come to me for coaching, but she'll come to me when she wants advice about her love life. Right. And then when you start unpacking that, a lot of times she can realize, like, oh, there's more going on here. And my clients are primarily female, just to say. I do have male clients as well, and I'm open to everyone. But that is the fact of the matter. Women, I say, like, men spend money on women and women spend money on men.
Mhm.
That's how I've seen it. Okay, now put your sexual preferences in there or whatever, right? But at the same time, it's like that's really what I see. So women are coming to me for that, and then the coaching a lot of times can unfold, and that's where there can be so much movement and momentum. Like, I know truly that I have helped so many people, especially women, like throughout the world, just
Mhm.
with their lives and evolve. And it comes, I feel like, from that one-on-one, just like building a connection, building a kind of intimacy, building a safe space of vulnerability, understanding that individual. And like, my favoriteest relationships are the people that have been coaching with me for a long time, the people who coach with me every week or every other week, or that come back to me frequently. And we are in each other's lives and like following each other's journeys and kind of evolve together, and like the tapestry can become so deep and dynamic. And I always admire those people that keep coming back, the people who, again, especially the people who do it, like, not everyone needs it, but weekly or bi-weekly, because it's just like, wow, this is amazing. And we start like communicating like psychically, like I can reach out to them, they can reach out to me. It's like, oh, I was feeling you, you were feeling me. And
Yeah.
that there's that connection, that energetic connection that can be built. And I really feel that that happens like one on one. So that is like honestly my favorite thing. I really am in this to coach. And everything else is like added on and great, but that's my juice. That's really my favorite thing to do for people.
Mhm. I agree. I love one-on-one, and those long-term relationships are so beautiful. They're like, "Oh, I had a dream about you," or, vice versa.
Totally.
But what I
Totally.
love but what I love about you too as a coach is that you're very, like, clear in how you explain anything. I
Mhm.
don't like going to people that use crazy words like, "Oh, it was transcendent," and, whatever. You just give it to them straight, and you give it to me straight, and I just appreciate that so much. Like, it's plain and easy to understand and work with.
Oh, cool. That's cool to hear. I try.
Yeah.
I do like big words, but I'm for myself too. Like, I always say, like, I don't like read a whole bunch of spiritual books and concepts and like replicate it. I just am literally like, this is what I feel, so I'm going to say it to you. You
Yeah.
know, it's like very organic flow, and maybe it aligns with a concept or a big word, maybe it doesn't, but I don't hold on to that. There's no like template for my coaching. It's really just truly one-on-one, truly tailored for the individual, and whatever comes, I trust it. There's a reason. That's why it's intuitive life coaching. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I also love, there was one time, no, without going into details, but there was actually one time someone came to me and asked a psychic question, and I gave them a certain answer. And they told me that they had asked you, and I had no idea. And she showed me, we had both given the exact same answer to the person.
oh my
And
god,
like,
no
we
way.
didn't talk about it, and you literally just found out right now, but like, we gave that person the same exact answer. Like, tell me that's not
Yeah,
psychic.
totally. We're on point. We are
Yes.
on point. Yeah, that's what I say. Like, if something's coming, there's a reason. And that's how I learned to trust my intuition. Like, no overthinking. Just if it comes, there's a reason. And it might make sense to the person. It might not. It might make sense later. But there's a reason. There's a reason they need to hear it. There's a reason I need to say it. So,
Definitely. And I also agree with being open to working with other people, but being more just one on one. Because I don't know if I work well with others. I mean, I do like in this way, but when it comes
mhm.
to what I'm trying to do, it's hard for me to keep track of the other person, or what if the other person is just kind of a shady business person. I don't know if it's just my own trauma because I feel like
Mm,
I've been burned a lot of times, but sometimes in the spiritual community you never really know who's like kind of a whack job, you
yeah,
know.
totally. Yeah, for me, like, people have to hit me just right. But I trust my gut with that. Like I say to people, like, don't just go to any psychic. That's what my mother taught me. Don't just go to anyone. Like, please, like, I encourage people, like, work with other people, work with other intuitives, work with other coaches. But like, at least, like, let me recommend someone to you or find the right person, because yeah, I mean, so many people have gotten swindled. And I was just explaining this to my man the other day. I was saying, my business has really taken a hit over these past few years with all the fake psychics, because people used to be open to like my outreach or different psychics. But now I've had people say, like, sorry, I've been scammed. I paid like $2,000, $5,000 for someone who said, like, someone was doing voodoo on me, so I don't have the money. Like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it sucks. Like, luckily I have like a strong, loyal client base, and also I get references, but it's changed. There are people out there, I don't even know what they're doing.
Well, there's
Like,
also the people who make those fake accounts of our
yeah,
profile.
yes, them too. Like, I find them all the time. I even found two on TikTok yesterday. I'm like, I have like not even 300 followers on TikTok. I'm like, why are you making fake accounts of me on TikTok?
I know.
Hello. Um, so I'm very particular as well about who I go to. I have my set intuitives, and I do like to get coached from time to time. And I really have to feel it. Like, they really have to strike me right. Like, they have to understand me, understand my life, and I have to feel that. So same, I don't know if that's trauma based or if that's just like being smart and judicious about it, but definitely for people, like, don't just be open to everybody or
Yeah.
anybody. Like, you got to feel right about it. If you don't, walk away. And nobody should be charging you thousands and thousands of dollars for some energy work or something. No way.
Yeah, that's just insane to me. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do hate too when people do the whole like fear mongering, like, oh,
Yeah.
come to me because I can erase the black curse that's on you, or like
Right.
somebody around you is coming after you.
Right. Totally. The same thing. The fear-based stuff. It's like
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's no good for
But
sure.
it definitely it goes back to what we were saying before about you should have just maybe one, two, or a small group of people that you know and trust, and then you're with them long term, and so like they know you
Yeah.
better, like you were saying, and it's just
Yeah.
a better spiritual connection because you never know. Somebody might, God forbid, have bad intentions for you, or just maybe they just don't know what they're doing, or maybe it's just an entire scam to begin with. It can be very scary. I would say,
Yeah.
yeah, like people should trust themselves, trust the feedback a person gets, just really try to verify that they are legitimate.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, just because you're intuitive doesn't mean your intentions are good. To me, intuition is just another type of intelligence. Like, it just like being good at math or science or art, and anything of those things can be used for like good or evil, let's just say. You
Hmm.
know, being a psychic, being intuitive doesn't mean that you necessarily have the best intentions. It's just a gift that you have, and you get to use it how you want. So I feel like if you're an intuitive and also a healer, that really helps. A true healer, where you have that good intention for and that's for me, that's always, I want people to feel as comfortable as possible, as hopeful as possible. I will tell it to you straight, but always with sensitivity and always with your best interest in mind. Never to make you feel fear, because I want people to feel like they are empowered even to
Hmm.
face the hard things in their life. So,
Exactly, and I think that that's really powerful and really important, and I think just the people who will watch this video will feel how, like, genuine the energy is, like, it's something you
Mm.
can feel too, you know? I think some people, even just through messages, they might feel uncomfortable with the person they're messaging, but then they just ignore their gut feeling and they continue with it, and I'm like, "Stop doing that." Like, if you can literally
Totally.
feel weird energy through the phone, it's for a reason.
Yeah, and you can even no matter what someone is saying, you're just like, something's not right. Like that's what when I was doing online dating, I was like, if somebody gave me any kind of just doesn't matter what they're saying, I'd just be like, nope.
Yeah,
You have to trust your gut. And like the thing is that, my message is honestly, you can use your intuition for everything. And you should be using your intuition for everything. Starting that process of trust. It's not just like about the future or your love life. It's like, it's a it's a um, kind of like vast source of information for you to utilize with everything in your life. There's that gut feeling. I mean, I always think people are like, oh, it's hokey pokey. What do you mean? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you think humans actually have survived this long without using their intuition? When we were out in the world without computers and data and blah, 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 what were we using? Like, I sense danger. I sense fear. It's not just like in the ether. It's like you are taking in pieces of information. Your body is like sensing things, right? Through your body, like pheromones and just like things in the air and like little sounds that maybe consciously you don't even realize are there. So that's why I feel like trust it. There's a reason why it's called gut instinct.
yeah,
You know, trust your gut. Like, yes, it's not just like woo woo out
yeah.
there. Something
Yeah,
you
I
can
think
use.
Yeah, I think a lot of people expect an intuitive message to be something so intense that like a loud voice is saying on Tuesday, like you need to watch out. But it can be just like, I feel like I need to drink water right now, or like I'm
Yeah.
getting the feeling like I need to go for a walk. Like it could be something very small. It doesn't have to be like a huge production.
Totally. Or it could be like turn left,
Yeah.
instead of turning right or walk here or, just little things like that. Like, I mean, I hear all kinds of things. It's like sometimes it's like, wait 2 minutes before you leave. And I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it could have saved you from something or,
hmm
could be anything.
Totally. And you never know. But like the more you trust, the more things like unfold for you. Although I always say like it's easier said than done because there's a lot of things, a lot of conditioning, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that we hold roadblocks inside of ourselves that prevent us from being able to just really inner voice that's there. And that's why I am very happy to give someone intuitive guidance anytime to use my intuition, but I also want to help you learn how to use your intuition. That's why it's again, my brand, my love, my baby is this intuitive life coaching because you can learn how to use it for yourself.
Mhm.
It's just like getting to that place inside of yourself in your body being open where you can listen and you do listen. And once you start, it's just amazing. Sometimes you can't even, I don't know if it happens to you. I bet it does. Sometimes I can't even turn it off. I'm like, all right already.
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
are you like you find out something you didn't really wanna know?
yeah. Yes, that's the truth. I mean, sometimes and that's the thing too. You have to be open to sometimes knowing sometimes finding out things you don't want to find out. And at the same time, I also feel like to recognize as an intuitive or within your own intuition, whether you call yourself an intuitive or not, that sometimes also I feel universe is protecting you in not finding certain things out. There's a wisdom to it all. So again, it's like trusting when things come to you. There's a reason. Trusting that things haven't come to you. Like sometimes after you're like, oh, there's a
Yeah.
reason. Or sometimes you realize after, like, oh, you were trying to tell me this the whole time. And I was like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
what's
actually funny. I can be very stubborn, Taurus, and, I'll get a message and I'll just be like, "No, I'm gonna do this anyways. Like, I know you're telling me this, I'm gonna
oh,
do this."
yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gotten to the point where I can feel my guides pulling my ear, being
Oh my
like, "Bitch, you better listen." Like, I
god.
really feel it.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it. I
yeah.
believe and like for me, like recently, um, you know, what I've noticed is again being open, being more open. It's like ancestors coming to me in dreams. You know, some of my angels, like friends who have passed, things like that, just coming to me. Like so in these places and states where I'm not conscious. So I
Mhm.
can't even sometimes turn it off. But those are the messages that I really have I've come to learn I needed to hear that. So, mhm.
Yeah, I've experienced that too. Not usually not people who have passed away, every once in a while, but usually like a guide or somebody will come through, or they'll just put me in a situation that's just something that I can't ignore when I wake up. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes, totally. When that veil is very thin,
Yeah.
that you're sort of half asleep, half awake in that in between state. Yeah. For me, I think it's because, maybe I'm older than you, more people in my life have passed. But I've always had that connection, that kind of ghostly connection. And then again, once you're open to it, it just it comes. And so that's something where I do have that connection. I do also really um I would say, or feel very honored when people come to me for, I call them past souls message readings. So,
Mhm.
where I'm able to pass messages from someone who has passed to a loved one. That's also a very powerful experience
Mhm.
to have. And I sort of feel like I get like ghost street cred or something. It's like
Yeah.
I help the people out, and then the ghosts on the other side help me out. And some of those ghosts, if you will, have helped me in my life. People, you know, clients, and I've done readings for people that have passed in their lives, and then those come to me, and it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
See, you're
but
better than me. That's something I used to do, and I kind of closed myself off to it just because every
Mhm.
once in a while I would get a little spooked, you know.
Oh,
But I
okay,
also was much younger, so I feel like maybe I just wasn't ready to kind of really dive into that. So
yeah,
maybe you and I could revisit that sometime and work on it together.
yeah, totally. Well, maybe there's a reason why this is coming to you right now.
Ooh.
Ooh, right?
Yeah. But anyways, thank you so so much for coming on the show with me. This has been awesome, and
Yay.
I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm honored to have been here and always like so happy to support your work, and I appreciate you supporting my like love forever.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I love you, girl. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.